All right, let's get started. So, welcome on into episode 16 of the Paladins Bugcast. We have your favorites. It is I, Lebug. We got Tino.
Hi, hi.
Yes. And then we also have Elkington, who will be just chilling.
Bonsoir.
Shinky, shinky, shinky. But now, we're going to be talking about zoning. We asked everybody in chat earlier. We did a little poll to see what everybody wanted to talk about, and zoning was the one that won. So we're going to cover the definition and then the types of zoning, area denial, dismounting, and where to apply pressure. And feel free to give your thoughts and opinions in chat if you're live, and we can also include it on here. So, what would we say the definition of zoning really is?
I'd say zoning is
Like
I don't know
taking
why
charge of the
I've been thinking
fight?
during this whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like forcing your enemy to move how you like, not letting them to just like be able to freely run around where they want to, forcing them to like either reposition or not get into a position that would be favorable to them.
It's a good, like, short and sweet definition. And then I'm just gonna, for the types, just kind of like copy the titles.
It's back.
Yes.
Ghost is back.
Sticky. He's like, where's the YouTube, Mom?
Yeah, I let him watch YouTube computer. Now he demands it.
I mean, you got him started on it now.
It's your fault,
He used to, whenever I'd get the laptop out, he used to come sit by me so he
That's
could
it?
watch it on the laptop. But it's touchscreen, so he ran
I rolled it for you.
Oh no.
I told you.
Trying to like swat at something on the screen, just pauses it instead.
Oh no.
TikTok. He tries to swipe TikTok too.
Oh, I didn't even know an ad's going. I need to get out of that habit of just that when we do these.
He can watch Allie stream. Do you want up on the desk? You can go up there. Go on.
I'm gonna refresh this. It's acting crazy.
Yeah, I see that. It's not letting me copy.
No.
Probably won't even let you change it. Then.
What the hell? Might have too many instances of it open. It does that when I have too many Canva windows open.
Though. Like fighting for control on one of
Mm-hmm.
Maybe copy one of the other boxes or duplicate one of the other ones that you can type in, and then just delete that one.
I'm just gonna. Oh, it won't even let me get back in here to type. Biggie! Oh, Biggie! Stinky! Biggie! Do, 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 do. Thank you so much. How are you? How was your stream? I'm alright. Got some good rest. Now I'm chilling here. We're having our Paladins Bugcast, a great time to raid. Thank you. We're on episode 16 talking about zoning. So feel free to leave your opinions and your thoughts about proper zoning, what not to do, what to do, explain what it is as if you're talking to a new player or an intermediate player that's trying different characters that wants to learn how to zone with character specific zoning, because that's a thing too. So appreciate you guys, and those of you that will be watching this on YouTube, I will also, whenever I get raids during a live recording, y'all already know I will include their channel information in the description box as well if you want to check out who was that raided me, which was Biggie. All right, so we left off on area denial. That'll be a fun one to talk about. So if we could summarize area of denial into a very short and sweet description, how would we do so? Because when I'm thinking area of denial, I'm immediately thinking of my main, my girl, Willow. Y'all already know. Everyone's favorite butterfly bitch. I say that because when Andrew Main sit there and shit talk Willow next to me, I'm like, bitch, I will fucking blast flower your pussy.
Ew, Willow. Ew, Willow.
Get out my ear with that shit. Y'all love Willow. Shut the fuck up.
I think Willow's a great example of area of denial. She has the anti-heal, so, you know, if you're
Yeah.
staying in that.
Yeah.
you
Willow
know,
BK.
She also has her seeds, which
Yeah.
also add another form of area denial, because you're
Mhm.
dying
Go,
to stand there.
Betty.
Dredge Betty. Yeah.
Betty,
BK.
Tyra,
Betty's
BK
are
for
probably
sure.
the most like prominent ones. I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, Betty and Willow, I think, are probably, and Tyra.
But let's
probably
pick
two of the
brains.
better.
Let's get
when you
into
pick out
why. Yeah, explain like Elka's doing. Bring up why a character has good area denial. What makes the area denial good? Because a lot of people, we've seen it last night with some of our randoms. They will pick a character that has great potential for lots of things, but they don't do what they need to do. Why is that? They don't understand the character. They don't understand what's needed, what needs to be done with it.
It's like
Or Dredge.
Dredge's
Okay.
right click with that 3 that he shoots out. If you build your cards right, you can heal off that.
Stinky. Dredge tech. What were you saying, Taji?
Betty, you know, her hail bombs like kind of
Hella bombs, yeah.
confined. It's in kind of in a confined space, and so like it kind of forces you like to can't really play around it because it does lead to a lot of damage.
Yep, and she got resets on it, if built correctly.
I know. I got that bill.
Tarok.
For Barrack,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
if you do tinkering, you can lay down how many turrets? Like a shit ton.
Mm-hmm.
And if you got the healing card on them,
Oh,
and it just
Forge
stay
Fire.
up.
I think you meant Forge
Yeah,
Fire. I was like,
Forge
wait.
Fire, He
Forge
can
Fire, whatever,
throw
yeah.
down his
Hot
2 regular and 2 ultimate turrets.
Yeah. Tarok says a no-no with zoning is tunnel visioning your lane. Let Dredge Betty Canessa Strix. You get flanked easily, which is very true. Gotta take a break every now and again. If you zone like that, you can become the backline, which is a very good point to make.
True, because you know, since there are flank champions,
All right,
you can't
Biggie.
just focus on one thing. You have to at least be looking around, like if something might come in that way or the other way.
Right.
making
That's
sure
also
you
a
got
good point.
movement to
I
get
think
out.
a good
Yeah.
summary of like area of denial is some way to kind of force the enemy not wanting to be there, whether that is damage or some kind of utility that doesn't help. Like Willow's anti-heal, it keeps the enemy from getting heals. Tank's not going to want to stand on point if they're not getting healed, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Same thing with
Tank's not gonna
Betty's
stand on point
like
if there's
Hail of
just constant
Bombs or Tyra's
damage.
Fire. Like if you just stand in it, you're gonna die. Like so, it kind
Yeah.
of forces you to reposition. I think that's what area denial. It's a way to force repositioning. There you go. I was like trying to think of a quick way to summarize
Like-
it.
Dredge's right click. If you're able to land those 3, if you space them out correctly, you can do the entire point.
Right. Yeah.
But with Dredge and Betty, you can hide behind shit and still be hitting people if you arch your
Mhm.
stuff right.
True.
Even Pip has a little bit of zoning with his right click.
Oh, he has good zoning,
Right.
and his
I think
ult is
it's
a
also
great way to
good.
do that too.
I think it's also a good way to, I guess like keep your enemy from repositioning too, because like if you're like putting it behind them, you're kind of forcing them to fight with you. You like force them into it, or otherwise they have to run through your spam, your area of denial, whatever it is.
Yeah, you're forcing decisions to be made.
So yeah, I mean,
yeah.
still same as like above, forcing the reposition, whether that is making them retreat, making them push up, whatever it may be.
Oh, I like that Turok is like some characters that can actually zone. I'm gonna include that at the very bottom, like a little bubble. Some examples.
Good zoning characters or something.
Yeah.
Who's got good ults for zoning? Let's see.
Ults for zoning?
Yeah.
Dredge comes to mind pretty quickly.
Dredge, Maldumba, Corvus, those all come to mind. Genos
for sure. Even though Corvus' ult is...
Genos, everybody moves. Yeah. Everybody moves.
Yeah.
Same with Sky.
You put a Genos ult right on the fucking point, everyone's sprinting off of it.
Right.
That's a true. I think most things can just take a Genos ult, to be honest.
That is true with Haven and but well, fucking I say Haven. It's like I'm so used to the old shit. Yeah, warding.
No, I think Lilith and Moji still are very good zoning because like while they're trying to heal their teammates, it's also putting pressure on whoever's trying to.
Yeah, if you see a Lilith fucking circle and you're not running, like you know how many noobs I see standing that shit.
Same with Moji, her spit pierces.
Yeah.
Yeah, doesn't her spit go through?
Her spit and her flamethrower and her little ball spits. I don't know the different names.
Itachi, who did you say? You said Moji, Lilith, Ray, and then you said someone.
I was thinking Dumb, but I was like, nah.
His ult.
Dumba's same thing as Lilith, yeah.
His ult, no.
His ult and his puddle, it does do damage.
Yeah, I mean Dumba counts as a yeah.
And if you hit those stunts correctly, you're doing good zoning.
But a lot of times, okay, for me, I've got cooldown out the ass for my gourd, right? Even if I go spirits, so I will waste a gourd or two to throw at the enemies to gain ult. You're supposed to do that. Like that's what I'm saying. Like new Dambas will sit there and they don't use their full kit to the full extent that you can use it.
How much it does.
Yeah, dude. Like I gen ult. Some games I'm genning ult quickly.
That's
like
why Spirits chosen or whatever that talent is. Yeah, Spirits.
I love that one.
Is so much better for healing.
Beams are it's so good.
The fact that like your damage doesn't fall off.
You can make a gourd loadout and run spirits and still do well. I've done it. Like it's stinky.
Like the 40% less damage on ripened gourd. That's the part that makes it just that talent.
Plus lifesteal, movement speed
buffs.
buffs.
Is so much better. Of course.
He provides so much for his team.
Healing is so good, but
yeah,
the fact that it falls off late game because you know cauterize and then now you're doing less damage too. That's why I think Spirits chosen is.
Who else we said? Betty, Dredge. Willa. I feel like we're missing people. We said Pip. Pip-Ball. I think that's like all I could think of. My brain's not braining.
Did you have
Tyra? Tyra, yeah. What about Tavia ult?
Tavia's ult is very good for zoning.
Yeah, that can, and it's very wide, so you can get like.
Especially if she's running the talent for it.
What about Atlas?
Both parts on the talent.
Atlas.
So, I think Atlas is a unique
rewind.
Form of, because it's like
rewind.
It's not like forcing them to like move. Oh
yeah, actually, he belongs up there too. Because if we're gonna throw Sky up there,
just because he chooses to.
Yeah.
They don't get a say in the matter. Like he says, no, you will go.
Right. I'm gonna go flank. Atlas says no. You're gonna stay right here.
No.
Yeah. I fucking hate that shit when Atlas peeps my flank and I'm like no, and I'm Willow or something. I'm like no. But then for that, I'm just like, well, if you're gonna do that, then I'll just throw my seedlings because you've already used your rewind. So, fuck it. But that's whether or not he throws a shield, and then I gotta pay attention to that because just like Betty shit and Dredge shit, her shit gets stuck. Alright, so dismounting I think was the next. So why is dismounting important? What is the purpose of it specifically for siege. Because I mean, with payload, you could remount, so it's irrelevant.
Yeah.
Forces them to walk to
More
the
so
point.
for like siege.
Sucks.
Yeah. It literally, yeah, it can prevent them from even touching the point. Honestly, like if say the fight draw out and
Mm-hmm.
it's like it's 60% and they all die, the fact that they have to wait to respawn, and now if they get dismounted right at spawn, they literally will not be able to touch point. It's a free easy cap.
Long overtime. Cap fights.
Yeah,
Oh my
it's
god, I
just,
can't spell.
It makes it again harder for them to reposition because they're having to walk instead of mount. So if they're trying to like get to high ground or get to a certain side or flank, it can take them much longer. More potential for you to see that too if you are the one dismounting them and zoning them.
Right.
Make that call out to your team. Hey, you're trying to push left side. It gives your team more time to reposition.
Yeah, some pretty sick call outs yesterday. Fucking, I forget what game it was. There was a tank ROM, I think it was. Kept trying to do weird shit in the backlines. I was like, bro, go away. What you doing? He did so much stupid shit, but like got away with it though. So that's why I was like, I'm gonna just focus your Leanne IO so you don't get heals or DPS back up. Fuck it. Which, I mean, and this is why it's important to have these conversations, right? Because let's say you play this game, but you don't play enough to understand why all this stuff matters. Because in a siege game, realistically, this is what it applies to. In a siege game, it could be that one play that is the game changer, whether or not you're going to win or lose the game, or the point fight, or the overtime. You know what I mean? Like, in that situation, there's a lot of times where you have to adapt to an ever-changing game. I've had games where every single cap was a different play style, was a different move, was a different flank, was a different choice that I did. You know what I mean? Like there's games where you just have to change what you're doing because obviously what you're doing is not working. Like it makes no sense to repeat what's not working, you know? I mean, even if you're getting rolled, like there's times where we've brought back games because we decided to do something different. Team flanks can change the game, you know, taking out the person who's doing the most damage, who's healing the most, who's tanking the most, who's 2Ving the most, you know. If someone's getting their ass wrecked, fight with them, you know, let them have the point and take it back on the next one type shit, you know.
Right, yeah, sometimes you do just gotta know when to pick your fights.
Which is where great segue into our next one, where to apply pressure, because that's a huge deal. That one game we had on Timbermill with the Torv, that just was like, nope, I don't want to settle the point while Eric's was freely flanking and doing things. Okay, he was playing Yag, and he was doing things. I think I was Omen, and I think Itachi was flanking. We lost that game. I was so pissed because we did so much to win it, and they won just because they, you know, played point more. Actually, no, I think we won that one. I'm not sure. I think we were gonna lose it. I don't know, but it was weird. Like he didn't apply pressure. He played very passively, which I'm like, if you're gonna go Torb when we have a Yag, you guys should be playing alternatively on and off point, right? And then like play alongside your damage and flanks, pocket them when they need it, support your healers when they need it. You know what I mean? He was just like dancing around the point and just kind of like watching everybody die and then like running back to the spawn. And I'm just like, no, dude.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Torvald should be aggressive, in my opinion.
He was the most passive Torb I've ever seen.
Torvald puts out just as much damage as Rom per second. Like
he can. I've seen some Torbs that area denials. They're made of middle name like.
Torvald has.
Shots, but I guess
Torv has I think some of the high I think has one of the highest DPS in the tank.
Yeah.
And he's a juggernaut like Rom too.
Bro, he is.
On
the highest
instant
DPS in the tank.
click. Boom,
I think Khan has the highest DPS in the tank class.
Yeah.
I think Khan still does, with the talent.
Khan.
Khan, then
Storm bullets.
Torvald, and
I think Yag might also be up there too, honestly.
Since the changes, yeah.
If you're like, since she doesn't, it's like consistent with the
top 5, but not like top 3.
Yeah, maybe top 5.
You can still be a bad zone denier, though. It's still easy to make mistakes with bad placement, splashes, mines, dredge, end dot circle is bad time. Oh, 100% Turok, and that's a good point to bring up. Since we're going to bring up the good, we should bring up the bad. Bad decision making, like I was just saying with the Torv. And I've had plenty of games where I've made a decision that just doesn't go as planned at all. You know? You think you kill someone and you don't. Now they've gotten healed and now they're coming back for vengeance with their entire team. Like, you've got to know when or where, in this case, to apply the pressure. If you're going on long distance flanks, if you're out here running, she's a track star, and your backline's getting fucked up in the back line, you're not doing your team any fucking good. Like, you, especially, I'm saying, like, I've had tanks go all the way in the back, do nothing. And for whatever reason, that worked last night when I was doing that shit in Anara. You know what I mean? But that's just because I know how to do that.
Because you were doing shit. It's not you were just running back there for nothing.
Right.
You were actually getting things done. You were
Yeah. Like, I go cripple Anara for a reason. I'm going to be in your backline. I'm going to be on your DPS and healer so you don't get that backup. Same with Yag. Yag's going to do that. Yag's going to ult. She's going to take out the most important person so they're weak. These are things that make or break a game. You know what I mean? So it's good to keep it in mind. Like, should you be applying pressure in the backline when your backline's being dove in? Or is it necessary? You know? Like, should I not?
Especially if you got, like, a Leon carrying the game. Like, you should have somebody pressuring her so she can't just run around carrying the game. As an example.
I think I worded that good. Let me know if I could word that better. I said, should you or not pull or push? I forgot to put or. The fuck. I think I meant to put one of these things. Pull or push for enemies or allies, knowing when to make the move to push the team alongside or alone.
That makes sense, I think. At least to me.
Like I said, let me know if I could word that better.
Me and you are literally, like, the same mind, though, so.
You live in my mind, bruv.
We are one. One are we.
Knowing when someone responds is actually best info for zone deniers, because if you dismount them early, it'll make the fight harder. Just don't die doing it. True. That is something to note. That is something to know. Because let's be honest, like, let's say you dismount an Amani, right? And you think you're hot shit for it. You don't kill her right then and then. Who's to say she doesn't have ult? And she could pop it right then and there. Same with emoji. I think that's what you already said. I didn't go into detail about it, but you know, examples of what we're talking about, just so people have a visual. Like I'm talking about, you know, there's certain people you can dismount that could be a good decision, but also can hurt you. You know, I've had plenty of times I think, okay, I'm gonna dismount Evie. Well, okay, she can fly up and drop down and ult you, and then you die for it. So now what? Or I've had randoms do that. I've had two flanks go push directly, dive, die, dive and die. I didn't realize they were Guy Fieri. Then there's dive and then dive. Because they just sweet. No do. So.
Yeah, that's a good point that Turok did bring up, though, about, like, knowing the respawns for sure. Especially, like, if you're dismounting and you're up there, like, dismounting the team and putting pressure and keeping them from kind of really moving out of the spawn. And then 3 people spawn out and you're the only one out there dismounting and zoning.
Yeah.
You just put yourself in a sticky situation. If you keep track of that counter and you're like, oh, I got like 2 seconds before literally the whole team spawns.
What'd you say, Tachi?
I'm out.
You kind of haven't had like spatial awareness, or like paying attention to where your team is, and also paying attention to like the cooldown of like where to respawn. I have to say.
I think another really important thing. Oh, go ahead. Sorry. You're so quiet on my side. I thought you stopped talking.
Poor Tachi.
No, I was finished. I would.
Oh, yet? 20 times louder.
Inhales the mic.
I love it.
I was gonna say, ally awareness is something that like is really good for zoning. Kind of like what Tachi was saying, like with the spatial awareness and stuff, like knowing how close and how far away you are to your own team and where they are. Like,
Yeah.
if you do get pushed, do you have a team to back you up, or are you
Bruh,
all alone?
Tachi and I have had plenty of games where our randoms we end up being the best people on our team. They see we died, and what do? Push in and then yell because they're by themselves. They're like, "Help! Capture the objective!" And I'm like, "You went in
Like,
alone."
Like if you randomly see me like kind of turning around a lot, cause I'm usually looking back to where like, hey, where are my supporters? Or
Right,
where
right,
the
right,
tank
right.
is. Just in case if I like, let's say like let's say we have a Nan on my team, right? And I'm low.
Mm-hmm.
I can like rush up and fall back behind his shield if he has his shield up. Or if I'm playing
Right.
a tank, I can rush up and like go put a shield in front of like a DPS or support, like block the damage. Stuff like that. Kind of way.
Kind of spreading the responsibility around, yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I forgot to say while we were.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say one thing I forgot to say while we were talking about dismounting was hit scan. Hit scan are probably some of the best dismounters.
Oh yes,
'Cause
fucking
they
Victor.
don't have to be way out
Victor,
there. Like, they
dude.
can be very far away and still make use. As long as you
Victor,
get one
Tyra,
bullet off,
Bibian, fucking booby
Koga,
trap.
Even though he has a huge fall off,
His
Koga
claws?
can be a really good zoner because with his sub scan.
Oh, I was like,
even
what?
Even if it's doing like no damage,
Yeah,
the dismounting
one
aspect
bullet.
with his hit scan. One bullet's all it takes, even if it does one damage.
Yeah.
Just be glad mine
any
can
hit scan
dismount
is
no
really
more.
good for dismounting.
Yeah.
I got 4, Bella.
Mine.
Tachi?
Yeah, zoners are pretty good at that.
Oh, I was gonna say before. I was gonna. Fuck. What the the whole train of thought. It's gonna come back to me. Yeah, go ahead. Continue.
Honestly, we're towards the end of it, but I mean, we're making some really good points. And I mean, when I first started this game, that's not something I really knew how to do when I played Siege. So I feel like a lot of this stuff does matter when you're playing, especially when I see the randoms. I see who they're playing, how they're playing, what they're doing. They're just playing TDM and Siege. Like, they're not playing around the point. They're not paying attention to overtime or who can touch. Remember the other day I was fucking raging about who didn't touch, and I was just like, dude, you could have easily touched. I was playing Nando, and I was like, dude, I was around the corner. We were on Timbermill. I don't know who it was, and I was just like, you could have touched so I could be there. I had my cooldown for the F ability, the run. I was like, come on, like it was 0.1, and they could have just touched it real quick to trigger it.
We don't realize, like, when it comes to like the zoning, like the overtime mechanic is like you don't even have to be on trigger it. Like,
no, you can keep jumping on and off and on and off.
A second or two, as long as you like touch it within that time limit, you're straight. Now sometimes it will
or push the enemy off. Yeah.
But with Paladins click you out of it sometimes, but that's just Paladins. But most 99% of the time, if you just put your foot on it, and it's gonna trigger overtime.
Turok said, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, finish what Turok said.
Turok said, important tip, please hold point if nobody else is on point. Zoners do the best job at this, which is literally in tandem with what we're talking about.
Let's say you have a Rom on your team, and you know 9 time Rom is going to be the best zoner. I think Rom the best zoning flank in my
Agreed.
Okay. Like he can go and make space, and that's why like if I see a Rom on the enemy team and I'm playing like this DPS like restriction or something, I'll play point. I don't mind it. So he can make the space and get the capture objective. So it's really just how you play.
Right. Well, and he can run on and off point. He can stop if he knows how to stop the run, and then he can heal if he's going subservience. You know what I mean? Like it's gotta be. You have to know, like we were talking about earlier, cooldowns, watching your teammates, seeing what's going on at what time, when to use your ult, when not to use your ult, when to hold back, when to pull back, pull and push. It's super important. People don't do that well enough, and that's why you get rolled. Why we get rolled sometimes. Games where, like we talked about earlier, where we've got people who are hard flanking when we're getting fully dove right down the middle. Or in the far right, far left, whatever it is. Really good. I think we covered a lot of good points here. I think most of the stuff is kind of straightforward. Good examples as well. I think most champions honestly have the ability to be area denial because I don't want to get technical. I don't want to like go into detail about all the examples, but you know, this kind of goes back to when we had an episode about card loadouts. Look at your champion's cards. Do you have the ability to disorient the enemy team? I've seen people make certain champs work that shouldn't work as area denial champs because they know how to move on certain maps, the timing of things, where to go, what to do, where to do it. So I think that's super important too. Any other thoughts, you guys? I think this kind of summed it up. Did good.
Yeah, I think this is good.
Hell yeah. All right, I'm gonna end it on that one.